Hello, everybody. Good evening. I'm gonna do after Keith. Yeah, do after Keith. Welcome to the Explorers Club. Usually we talk a little bit about the club, but I have a feeling that a lot of you have been here before. So I'm just going to start by saying that we're dedicated to exploration all over the world and beyond, founded in 1904, but very focused on the future, conservation, and having the next generation step up and take leadership roles in conservation. So if you want to learn more about the club, if you haven't been here, could Explorers Club members please raise your hand? Look up any of these fine folks, and they would be happy to tell you about it. We're happy to give you a tour, anything else you want. But we want to get going this evening quickly. And we're going to start off with reversing our order a little bit. So I want to introduce, are they still coming in? I want to introduce Keith Tuffley from Citigroup. And right now, Citi, just 2 floors above us, is announcing and putting out a landmark research piece on the oceans. And obviously, if you're here this week, you care about the oceans. The Explorers Club cares deeply about it. And so the idea that this group would be coming here to talk about that, and then they'll be coming down and joining us, we couldn't be more excited about that. And Keith is also a member. In fact, Sylvia and I happen to be his nominees, and so we're thrilled he's part of the club. On a whole nother night, we have to get you here to talk about all your various adventures and things. But for right now, we're just ask him to say a few words about how that whole world, because people are so curious about finance and how it all ties together, and what does that mean for the oceans, and what does it mean for things like aquaculture. Nobody better than this gentleman here. Thank you, Keith.
Okay, well, thank you, Ted. Great, a real honour. Is that working? Yep. A real honour to be here this evening. Thank you so much, Ted, and thanks for hosting us upstairs. So yes, I work at Citibank, right? Big global US-based, New York-based bank, and I lead our sustainability and ESG business there. And so you wonder, what has a bank got to do with our wonderful oceans? Well, there are just so many ways in which we rely, as a bank, we rely on the health and welfare and restoration of our oceans, but also so many ways in which we can assist. I was just saying a moment ago upstairs that so many sectors of the global economy rely on the healthy oceans, and of course we're a very, very large lender and facilitator to those sectors, including shipping. Offshore wind is obviously growing. There are more pressure points coming from the global economy on exploiting the oceans. So at the same time, we've got the Montreal Agreement now indicating, and with all the other relevant movements, to try to get at least 30% of the oceans to be protected by 2030 and hopefully 50% by 2050. So these pressures are only increasing, and of course what we need to be doing is developing a true sustainable blue economy, one which enables us to thrive, humanity to thrive, but also for the natural environment, the coral reefs and the sea life and everything else within the oceans to be restored and to thrive. And we're nowhere close to that at the moment. We're going in the wrong direction. So we're having an event just upstairs right now with Sylvia is speaking at it. We've just launched a fantastic report, only 113 pages long, but it's a great read, and it really is actually. I mean, some of you might go to sleep after a few pages, but it's a great weekend read, and it focuses on some of the innovations, technologies, but also the finance that we need to get into the oceans to support the restoration of what we all rely on and love. So that's what we're on about, is launching this report, trying to get more financiers, other banks, investors to be working together with entrepreneurs, but also large companies, the big shipping companies, the energy companies, etc., and obviously our food industry, to be more aware and to be putting more money into the sustainability aspects of the oceans. I grew up on the Great Barrier Reef in northern Queensland, and I've sadly seen half of that wonderful reef disappear in the last 50, 60 years, partly because of the fertiliser runoff from all the cane fields upon which I grew up, but also because of climate change. So we've got a lot of work to do, and it's just wonderful and a real honour to see all of you here testing the wonderful innovations of the food, which I can't wait to get into. So, Ted, once again, thank you on behalf of Citibank for your hosting of us upstairs, and congratulations for all the wonderful work that the Explorers Club does. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Keith. I know you've got to run back upstairs. Thank you. And now, as they say for Monty Python fans, for something completely different. So Felix Freeland, the incredible new addition to the Explorers Club team, is going to take you through something that you may have heard about, but probably not, which is the World Oceans Week Explorers Club first annual Minecraft Build Challenge. Woo! And I'm going to turn the microphone over to him, but I would like to say that he's really driven this process. But special shout out to his incredible helpers, Kevin Murphy and our president, Richard Garriott.
Yep.
Felix, it's all yours.
Thanks. Hi, everyone. So as you heard from Ted, thank you, Ted. We have a special new addition to World Oceans Week this year. For the first time, we partnered with Stride Esports to launch a special Minecraft Build Challenge. For those not familiar with Minecraft, basically it's like virtual Legos. You have all sorts of different building blocks you can use to put together. And for this challenge with Stride, we decided to, in going with the theme of Oceans Week, we challenged kids from 8 to 18 to build the world's greatest base for the world's, greatest underwater base, for the world's greatest explorers. So real quick, I'm going to go through and just show you all the winners that we decided. We have two different age groups. The first one is 8 to 12, and the second is 13 through 18. We had a lot of submissions, over 130, and many were quite kind of diverse. They went from the spectrum of being very scientific to being very kind of fantastical. So we had everything from underwater robots picking up trash to full-on underwater wizards' towers, that kind of, you know. So real quick, I'm going to start with the 8 to 12 age group. In second place, we have R Cannon. This is not their real names, by the way. This is their usernames in game. So here you can see their base on the top left. It's quite large. It had this long glass hallway connecting to the surface. But what we liked about this one was its kind of attention to detail in combining a researcher's recreational life as well as their scientific endeavors. So you see here we have a scuba suit with easy access to the water. We have some specimens of endangered species. And our canon also included things like a lounge for the researcher to relax in, as well as this whole structure here is an underwater, fully functioning basketball court. In first place in the 8 to 12 age group, we have Kinga SGDC. You can see their base right here. We quite liked the design of this. It looked very grounded, and these nice blue, white, and glass. What we liked about Kinga SGDC's build was, again, a very particular attention to the scientific detail. This being an airlock for the researchers to enter and exit through, and this being a kind of an underground farm with water and sunlight taken into consideration. Probably the greatest thing about Kinga SGDC's build that we quite enjoyed and fits with the theme of the night was a contraption they built to basically replenish the fish in the sea after you fish them for research or other purposes. So sustainability matters in Minecraft as well. Now on to the 13 through 18 age group. We have second place Sushi Rolls, which is a great name. Here you can see their quite visually striking base. They have this very modern glass and white structure built into the middle of a sunken ship. Basically like the ship crashed in half, and then they just built the new base right in the middle. And I don't know if you can read it here, but this text says, reduce, reuse, recycle. We recycled this shipwreck into a modern base, and you can recycle too. So that was just such a great touch. Here you can see some more little details. They've got another scuba suit, some more specimens, and some books for the researchers to read as well. Going on to first place for the 13 through 18 age group, we have Astro Bedrock. Here you can see their quite unique base. It's got these huge, basically glass spheres connected by hallways and multi-tiered, which we thought was quite cool. And this one kind of went above and beyond in terms of the scientific and research theme, which we very appreciated as researchers and as scientific explorers. They had here a little, one of these spheres is a botany lab with kind of all sorts of different plants, a full functioning seed vault as well. And we liked that outside the base, you could swim out through their airlock as well and visit here a coral nursery, which was just, you had to swim to. And then they also included a shore-land element that was a sea turtle hatchery as well, which was quite beautiful. So those are winners for the first ever World Oceans Week Minecraft Challenge. I want to thank Stride Esports and thank all the entrants. You can go downstairs and see, we have a setup where you can see all the rest of the builds. Some are quite unique and quite creative. And yeah, that's it. We look forward to doing more engagement and interaction with young explorers for future years. I'll hand it back to, oh yeah, real quick. These are our prizes. So the two first places are getting these treasure chests. We filled them with kind of exploration goodies for the kids there. So they've got a telescope, a map, a meteorite, some fossils, and those are going to the two first place winners. Great. That's what's said.
That process was very energizing, and it's also, you'll hear a little bit more from Julie on another way we're trying to reach people, but this whole thing about science and communication and meeting people where they are, this is just a great example, and thank you so much to Felix and all the people who made it happen. I almost never read from notes. The only time I do that is when I'm reading sponsors' names, because the reason why is that the only thing more painful than inadvertently leaving out a sponsor's name is standing next to a 4-year-old when they ring that bell, which I've done, and that is painful. So we always start with Rolex. They've been foundational with us from the very beginning. We absolutely would not be here without that. So we always recognize them as our founding partner, sponsor, any way you want to say it. They've been here since the beginning. Global Choices, Schmidt Marine Tech Partners, Technology Partners, who's been a loyal supporter over a number of years now and brought all that wonderful equipment in downstairs. Allen Exploration, who brought us last night's incredible Bahamian event. Phil Stevenson and Woods Hole, who brought us the Coral Hour. Auction Trips, Adventure Canada, Northwest Passage. This is also a hint that you might be able to still bid. Kensington Tours, Morocco, Variety Cruises, Tahiti, and Ponant, Belize, and Honduras. So thank you so much to all of them. And so now I'm going to turn it over to the curators and pioneers of the Sustainable Seafood Soiree, Julie and Alex Wallace. And as Alex once put it to me recently, whenever we do one of these, Julie starts planning for next year like the day after. So much thought, care, and attention goes into this, and that's just the beginning of what these two have done. They're chairs with me this year, which has been unbelievable. I don't know what we're going to do when we don't get all the chance to talk and such on all weekends and times of night, but they've just been fantastic. So I really want to give them a shout out. We have two other vice chairs, just so you know, Constance DeFede and Mark Bryant Brown. And of course, an incredible staff, so you'll hear the thanks from them, so I won't repeat that. But I do want to give a special shout out to Julie and Alex.
So before we, I think they can hear me. I'll stand up here. Before we show the sizzle reels of the incredible seafood vendors that we have here tonight, I wanted to tell you a little bit briefly about another contest that we did. It's more old school. We had a poetry contest and a challenge coin contest, and it's the first year we've done it. And we worked with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants. You need me to? Okay, sorry. We worked with Exploring by the Seat of Your Pants, who reaches classrooms all over the world, and they sent out a notice to teachers that we were doing a poetry contest and challenge coins contest. And so the winner of the challenge coin contest was a fifth grade student from Windermere School in Ellington, Connecticut, and her name was Sari Singh. And we have these for sale downstairs, so some of you may have seen it, but she chose our ambassador, the manatee, to put on our challenge coin. So we congratulate her. And I want to thank Julie Chase and Mark Bryan Brown, who worked with me to judge who would win the contest. During the day, you may have seen poems that have been scrolling through the monitors throughout the club, and those are the poems that were written by some of the school students. And our age group was K through 8, so we hit a younger age group. And the awareness that some of them have that is the things that are going on in the ocean is pretty incredible, so I hope you'll take a chance to read those. And that contest was a little bit harder to judge because we had 125 entries, and that's a lot of poetry for people to read. So Leslie Ewing, who's a member of our club, led that committee, and I want to thank Leslie for her hard work with that, and also club members Julie Chase, Martha Shaw, and Christine Neely. So thank you.
Julie and I wanted to thank a lot of other people that were responsible for this evening. First of all, our remarkable club staff. I can't tell you how much work they did, how many creative ideas, how many bright thoughts that came to them that they were able to share and make this event so much better than we could have done on our own. But I wanted to thank Jenna O'Connor and Kevin Murphy and Brittany Barbazet and Brooke Vejos. There's several, Felix, you saw Felix just in here, what he was able to do. And their fingerprints are on a lot of this. So you really should, a lot of people don't know, they're kind of always behind the scenes, but for our club, for the membership, they do a remarkable job. Secondly, I'd like to thank the Oceans Week volunteers. The NGENs have stood up. They've been here at every event. They have willingly and tirelessly volunteered their efforts on behalf of the club and for this event, and for that we thank them. Also, the companies represented this evening, they cover a wide range of product type and methods. Whether it's kelp, plant-based, or sustainably sourced fish, they share a common goal: nutrient-rich foods while maintaining the health of the oceans. We appreciate their generous support for this evening's event, and I think really, you watch them and you see these people, and they're innovators, they're entrepreneurs. They took a vision of one particular thing and they've turned it into something that's having a positive impact on the oceans. And it's been for all of us, for Ted, Julie, Constance, Mark, and I, that have watched these people over the last few years and seen their growth and their evolution. It's been a real pleasure to have them with us, and we're proud to call them partners. So we'll show a brief video to give you a little bit better idea of who they are and what they do. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and eat. And we, once again, thanks to our sponsors for Rolex, because none of this can happen without them. Thank you.
Today, we face both a planetary and human health crisis that's inextricably linked and driven in large part by our broken food system. To feed the 8 billion humans on our planet, we kill 80 billion land animals every year. And to raise these land animals, we destroy tropical forests the size of California every 4 years. The combination of deforestation and overfishing means our oceans are becoming acidic, our coral reefs dying, and scientists say we may lose all the fish in the sea by 2050. I'm Courtney Boyd Myers, founder and CEO of Akua. Akua is at the forefront of a blue food revolution, creating the most delicious, nutritious, and sustainable meat and seafood alternatives on Earth from ocean-farmed kelp, starting with the world's first kelp burger. As kelp grows abundantly without fresh water, dry land, fertilizer, or pesticides, it removes CO2 and nitrogen from our sea, helping to mitigate the effects of ocean acidification, restoring health and balance to our oceans. Kelp is exploding as a health food trend around the world, and Akua's Kelp Burger is sold in over 800 grocery stores across the country, in dozens of restaurants, and nationwide to thousands of online customers. In the past 2 years, Akua has worked with top chefs to develop dozens of new plant-based foods made from cleaner, healthier ingredients than many of the competitive products on the market today. Also, in the past 2 years, I became a mother. And there's nothing quite like looking into your child's eyes and feeling deeply responsible for their future and their ability to enjoy a long, healthy life on our home planet. To take our mission to new heights, we're next heading to the seafloor and announcing an exciting new partnership with the world's most well-known ocean-based celebrity. We've teamed up with Nickelodeon's SpongeBob SquarePants to develop healthy foods for kids of all ages and bring more awareness to kelp-based foods. To support this next phase of our business, we're bringing our community back together to help us bring our new products to market, including Akua's SpongeBob Kelp Patties that will launch into retail and on kids' menus across the country this year. Move over macaroni and chicken nuggets. It's time to eat more kelp.
My background is in agriculture, and I've spent nearly 15 years in the industry. But I came to Maine as an AmeriCorps volunteer, and as with a lot, I thought I was going to be there in a few months, and found out how much was happening in agriculture, and saw it as this opportunity. And after being here for several years, I left, but I came back only a year later to start my own business. And that's when I came across it.
Kelp is a kind of seaweed and is one of the most earth-friendly foods on the planet. By growing and eating more kelp, we can fight climate change and improve the health of our oceans. Kelp is useful. It can be eaten, turned into energy, made into renewable packaging, and more. At Barnacle, we turn kelp into food to make a brighter future for our oceans and communities. How does kelp fight climate change? Patches of spores, called sori, form on the kelp's long leaf-like blades. When they ripen, billions of spores release from the sori and are transported to the nearby seafloor by waves and currents. In less than a year, a tiny kelp spore can grow to over 100 feet in length, at a rate of more than 1 foot per day. Kelp beds grow like underwater forests. However, unlike a forest of trees, kelp can grow to full size in a single year, allowing for a renewable annual harvest. Kelp doesn't need anything from us. It grows without any fertilizer, fresh water, or land, and it grows without pesticides or herbicides. All it needs is ocean water and sunlight. That's why kelp is a great crop for ocean farmers who cultivate and tend to its growth on regenerative sea farms. To address climate change, our ocean must be part of the plan. As carbon dioxide levels rise in the air, excess emissions are absorbed by the sea. This acidifies the ocean, harming the animals that live there and endangering our Earth's supply of food and oxygen. As climate change is wreaking havoc on ecosystems around the world, kelp is being looked at as a potential solution. Kelp needs carbon to grow, and did we mention kelp grows fast? Kelp absorbs our excess carbon emissions from the sea, using it to form the building blocks of its tissues. The more kelp we grow and eat, the more excess carbon is removed from the sea. Kelp farming and harvesting offers a way to fight climate change while at the same time supplying us with nutrient-dense food. At Barnacle Foods, we are part of a movement of kelp farmers and food companies working to improve ocean health. By growing and making foods from kelp, we're making it possible for you to fight climate change from the comfort of your home while enjoying your favorite meals. Kelp is the first ingredient in our mouthwatering hot sauce, salsas, pickles, seasonings, barbecue sauce, and more. With love from the Alaskan coast, your friends at Barnacle Foods. And thanks to our partners at Sea Alaska for helping to tell this story.
My name is Nick Mendoza, and I am founder of Neptune Snacks, which is a mission-driven food brand based in Seattle, Washington, and we are makers of healthy, delicious, sustainable fish jerky. Our current line consists of 4 flavors of U.S. West Coast rockfish and 1 Alaska pollock jerky, each of which have won awards for taste and texture in blind taste tests. Those flavors are cracked pepper, sweet citrus ginger, sea salt and juniper, and my personal favorite, spicy Cajun. The product has 25 grams of protein, 450 to 580 omega-3s. It's nut-free, gluten-free, non-GMO, but what's most important to me and our team at Neptune is our mission and sustainability. When you look at a wild-caught, sustainable fish like rockfish or like wild Alaska pollock, you have a product that's produced with no agricultural resources, no land conversion, a lower carbon footprint than even tofu.
In many dimensions, fish are great. You don't need any fresh water, you don't use any antibiotics, you don't use any pesticides or chemicals or fertilizer. You do generate carbon, but many fisheries are much lower carbon than chicken or beef or pork. The really low ones are small pelagic fishes, sardines, mackerels, herrings, and some large industrial fisheries like, say, the pollock fishery in the Bering Sea.
When it comes to seafood, there's hundreds of potential items. They can be wild, they can be farmed. And so the way we approach it is we want to tell a story of one very easy to understand fishery. The U.S. West Coast groundfish fishery is an amazing place to source from, not only because this is a really high quality, delicious fish, but the story of what happened to the fishery, I think, is a success story that can be replicated across fisheries.
West Coast groundfish had been one of the biggest fisheries here on the West Coast. However, by the late 80s and 90s, the stocks of West Coast groundfish really had declined heavily. New rules came in about when, where, how much to fish. All of those things led to the recovery of the stocks back to where they were before. West Coast groundfish might be one of the best ecological conservation success stories that we have in the world of seafood.
I've dedicated my life to the oceans and finding the solutions that we need now, urgently, to restore ocean health. We make a high-quality, objectively delicious jerky that's different both because it's fish and appeals to people who are trying to cut down red meat in their diets, but it's also not made from salmon or ahi or any of these most commonly consumed species, because we as a society need to be broadening our palate to more delicious, abundant, U.S. wild-caught seafood that's available on our shores. And Neptune thinks that the best way to do that is with a familiar snack.
Hudson Valley Fisheries is a state-of-the-art recirculating aquaculture system in Hudson, New York. We raise steelhead trout year-round. They are New York State grown and certified, free of hormones, antibiotics, and vaccines, and rated a best choice by Seafood Watch. Our steelhead are the freshest available because they are delivered to our customers in the Northeast and beyond within hours of humane harvesting. To create Hudson Valley Fisheries, we drew from 40 years of experience in recycling and environmental stewardship. Unlike other forms of fish farming, recirculating aquaculture systems utilize cutting-edge, land-based technology. These systems eliminate the negative environmental impacts of traditional aquaculture in our oceans while protecting our fish from pollutants and plastics. Our facility reuses 98.9% of its water, upcycles its waste, and maintains a small carbon footprint.
We are mind-blown, and we make seafood out of plants. Coming from the seafood industry, we saw something going on with our oceans that needed to change. With the mission of leaving beautiful oceans for our kids and our kids' kids, we set out to create that change by offering a solution, a big, delicious solution that just so happened to relieve pressure off of our oceans instead of taking from them, to give the oceans a much-needed break. We've made some big waves, but we're not stopping there. We're also committed to restoring our coral reefs too, because, well, they're in pretty bad shape, and if the studies are right, we're going to lose them in just a few decades. So that's why we're donating 1% of profits to restoring coral reefs in Florida and all around the world through our incredible partner, the Coral Restoration Foundation. So every time you eat one of these, you save these and bring back life to the sea.
Mind-blowing.
And we believe if we all decide to give our oceans a break, together we will see our oceans thrive again. It's going to take effort, but we believe our ocean and future generations are worth it, and we're here for the challenge. Are you?
our sponsors Rolex, and let's eat.
Together as humanity, we can change the world.
Crazy not to follow where you lead your eyes. They turn me, on to phantom. This is my chance.